You're listening to the Ground Transportation Podcast with Ken Lucci of Driving Transactions and James Blain of PAX Training. Learn how you can build a thriving transportation business with real profits, repeat clients, and enterprise value. And now for your hosts, Ken and James.
Hey, podcast land. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Ground Transportation Podcast. My name is Ken Lucci from Driving Transactions. We do profit analysis, financial performance reviews, business valuations, and I am as always joined by my very capable co-host, James Blain from PAX Training, the best customer service and chauffeur training in the industry and driver training in the industry. And we are joined today, a little emotional for me because the guy in the lower right-hand box, the older gentleman on the call, was one of the first people that embraced me when I was an operator back in 2006. And he reached out to me when he came down to Florida. We met up, and he referred me to a lot of people. Arthur Messina from Create a Card is joining us today. And his very capable son, Drew Messina, who is taking over the reins of Create a Card, is with us today. And if you have not been exposed to Create a Card as a brand, I don't even know that you can call yourself being in the chauffeur industry.
You're under a rock at that point.
You're under a rock because these guys are legendary. The brand is extraordinarily well known. Every time I go into an office, I'm seeing boxes with Create a Card, collateral material by Create a Card, because nobody knows this industry like Create a Card. They know what works. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about marketing your chauffeur business. So, Arthur, we're going to start off with you. Give us a history of Create a Card, and how did you get into the crazy chauffeur transportation industry?
First off, thank you, Ken, and to James for having both myself and Drew on this podcast. It's a pleasure. I'm not sure why we weren't the first one, but I'm glad we're here, guys. Thank you.
We were waiting on the new marketing material we ordered from you guys to come in.
Well, we wanted to wait on the A-list players, so you're here now. So glad to have you.
So for those that have been under a rock, yes, my name is Arthur Messina. I am the founder and president of Create a Card. Started back in 1986. We've been helping the luxury ground transportation market their businesses since 1986. We're almost about 4.5 decades, close to it, working with the ground industry. We started with the basic of a business card, Ken. It was just real simple. Back in 1986, we started with picture business cards, and it wasn't something that was out there. Back in the day when my dad had a business, he was in the ground sanitation business. Would you believe that, with the last name Messina? Go figure. But
stereotype.
I didn't even realize it until after the fact that when I went back and saw one of the business cards that they had for their business, they had a picture of a garbage truck on there. And it's like, wow, this is almost like it was meant to be. So our very first step into the ground transportation industry was working with a company called Lucci and James Blain that had a couple of Cadillacs parked at a gas station. Back in '86, there were no really big operators. There was no big facilities that you're looking at as you do today. I stopped by. Jim Ficara was the owner of the gas station and the transportation business. And I said, hey, I'd love to take a picture of your vehicle and put it on a business card. The guy looked at me like I was three-way sideways. I mean, it just didn't make sense. What do you mean you got to put a picture of my limousine on a card? This is a calling card. When you pass out your business card, people will know exactly what it is that you do. And that was the concept for starting Create a Card. We wanted to take an item that people needed to see or didn't understand, put the picture on it with the rest of the business card information, and make that their calling card. And that was the start of Create a Card back in 1980s. This was even before Drew was even born. Here we are. We come into the 90s. We started doing business cards. We were doing postcards. We were doing brochures. We're doing different forms of marketing. We come into 2000. We're getting bigger into trade shows, trade show marketing, trade show booths. Fortunately, both of you guys are clients as well. We've done everything for a driving transaction. We've done stuff for PAX as well, from
The original logo, right? Designed by Create a
logo,
Card.
the lapel pins,
Yep.
the trade show booths.
You did my logos. Absolutely, 100%.
So we are a marketing company. I guess we're a marketing company, but we're really a service company. We are a relationship company that our product is marketing tools. We understand from 1980, 1990, 2000, 2010, 2020 right now of what the trends are. We stay on top of that. Every day when I'm out and I'm looking, it's hard being in the marketing business and looking at what everyone else does, because you don't go on vacation and just enjoy. You look at the rack cards, you look at the signage, you look at everything. What's good, what's bad? How come they put a bullet point there? How come they didn't put a bullet point there? Where's the QR code? Where's the phone number?
Oh, it's occupational hazard.
Yeah.
Occupational hazard. You have that eye.
And going forward, so sometimes people feel like, hey, you're not at work. You're always at work. I mean, especially in the marketing business. But as we come to the year 2020, my predecessor or my go-to guy has been Drew. Drew, it's funny when you have children. Those that have children will understand this. You talk and you rant and you tell stories day after day, year after year, and you think your kids never listen until finally comes back at you and says, hey, Art, you're right. I heard what you said. I didn't acknowledge it. Now I'm repeating it on a daily basis, 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day of things that you told me, things that I heard. So it does work. It just comes around at a later time.
And you're being humble, though. You're being humble because the chances that a business will transition to the next generation are slim. So you've taught them extremely well.
Well, I'll take a little credit for that, but that's really our vice president, Kathy Messina.
100%.
My wife
And by the way,
The real boss.
we have to acknowledge the fact that the real brains of the operation couldn't make it today on the podcast. So
yes, but she was the one that spoke to Drew. Drew had a background as a teacher in the school system. He was educating, and the school system would push him down that he was doing too well and it's making the other teachers look bad. And he got frustrated. Wow. And at a point, he took some time away from the school. And mom said, hey, we could use your help. Or you just come in and help out for a little bit. It's not a job. We're not asking you to come and run the business. Just come and help out. Drew, how many years has that been?
Enough.
So now, as Ken will tell you, with every business, you need an exit plan. Yeah. And as I looked at Drew is our exit plan. We're in the process of that now. Kathy and I still work on a regular basis. We're still here. You see us at the trade shows, but we are transitioning, and probably we will look at handing over the reins at our 40th anniversary, which is up and coming. So that's our goal, because when you create a business and you run a successful business and you have a enjoyable run at it, you also need to be able to enjoy the things outside of business. We all just don't live just to run our businesses. That is the vehicle till we get to our next point. And when you get to that point, you want to be able to enjoy life. And you got to enjoy life while you still can, while things work, while you can walk, while you can think, while you can talk, while you can enjoy the things. And the money you made, you want to spend back and put back into the economy.
So tell me something, Arthur, how did you avoid getting burnt out of the business? When I see you and Kathy, you're always smiling. You bring it, you guys, the three of you at the NLA, CDNLA, you're a fixture there. How did you stay so motivated over the 40 years? And then we'll go to Drew on what's going on now.
So I think, Ken, with that is we look at it as every year we go to the trade show, it's a cousin family reunion. I'm not going to talk to my clients or pick up new clients. I'm going to talk to our friends, our cousins. And if I start a list, I mean, you could just go through the affiliate pages in the back of the magazine. You could go through everyone advertises. I mean, it's the A1A in the world. It's the Urbans. It's the Carolina Limousines. It's everybody. It's Stay in the L. It's Limo Anywhere. These are all clients of ours. Every name that you can pick up, whether it's a Liros, it's a Park Avenue, and so on and so on. These are clients of ours. So when we go to the shows, we get to see our friends. We get to see our clients. We don't push. We don't hard sell. In 40 years, you've never seen us push or hard sell or deadline that you must order it today. There's only 3 left. Order it before it runs out. That's not us.
No, and listen, you've had competition come in, try to infiltrate the market, and literally fail miserably because they don't have the secret sauce that you have, which is the cultivation of relationships, the networking. You've always networked. You've always referred me. You've always networked with your customers. Okay. And these other guys don't get that. And that's a lesson for the operators out there, right? It is creating, maintaining the relationships and networking. And how many times have you called me and said, hey, Ken, so-and-so is thinking of exiting, or they may need your help. They may call you.
Wow.
But the art of networking, you perfected it.
It happens all the time. My dad, Drew's grandfather, always said, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Listen more than you talk. And, you don't realize these things when people say stuff until it really clicks. And it's true. We listen to our clients. We listen to the other vendors that we do work with, and we try to help them the best way that we can. That is our goal. Again, when somebody sells, and Ken, you understand this, you've been selling a lot of businesses over the last 2 years, 3 years, but we lose clients because our other clients are buying our clients. So we end up with less clients, but our client became bigger, but you still work with that. And our goal is to maintain the relationship, maintain the networking, try to be out there. And that means whether it's in person or online, we try to do both the best we can.
I think the other thing here that often gets overlooked is going back to where you said you started originally, business cards. You get a lot of companies like, I'm going to go on Vistaprint. I'm going to make a card and I'm going to print and it's going to be awesome.
Go ahead.
Do you make business cards for a living? Is that someone that can advise you on it? Is that someone that can say, hey,
and what works in the industry?
What works in the industry? When you're at a trade show, can you write on that card? Can you, I have having the pleasure of having worked with you guys throughout the 10 years that Pass has existed. I can tell you right now, I've driven both Arthur and Drew nuts because you guys are our partners, right? Yeah, no, not me, not Picky James. No, but to that point, you guys really operate more as a partnership of, hey, you need to consider this. Hey, this is what's going to work. There's a lot of expertise and there's a lot of knowledge that they're gaining from working with someone like you. And there's a lot of things that you don't think about in that space. I think one of the things that I'd love to kind of hear about is how that's kind of evolved over the years. Because obviously, I won't date myself, but 86 is pretty early on in my existence, right? If at all. And so what is that look like kind of growing through as you've partnered or worked with all these companies? What's been the through line and changed? Obviously, you guys have evolved so much.
Well, I guess the common is myself, Kathy, bringing Drew in. We have a consistency. I'm a phone call away. I'm an email away. I'm a cell phone away. Another thing that Drew's learned over the last 5 to 7 years is how come your phone rings at Saturday night at 8 o'clock when
my phone rings on Saturday night.
I need something to get done. And we answer the phone.
Yeah.
I do it. Hey, I'm busy. I'm out to dinner. I'll get back to you tomorrow. I'll get back to you later. Again, I guess the best way to look at it is we're strategic advisors. We're just not a vendor. We're
100%.
We're there for our clients, but not in a selling process and a helping process.
More of a concierge marketing firm versus just a standard marketing firm.
Absolutely. How many times have you said to me, Ken, 3 words instead of 12, and this is how you can say this? You've edited my stuff down to perfection. Don't be laughing at me. Anyway, so no, it's true, but you're not going to get that from Vistaprint. And you've said to me, it's literally what works in the industry, but you're being modest because you pivoted to electronic brochures and you've got unbelievable graphics people, right? So you're not going to get that with Vistaprint. You're not going to get that with the online person. Even if your local Minuteman printer doesn't know what the industry doesn't know what works. So when I say to operators, I recommend rack cards. I recommend use cases. I recommend electronic and paper. And I recommend marketing materials. So Drew, what is working now, right? Post-pandemic what is working now. I'm going to tell you my pet peeve to tee this up. Over the past 90 days, look, the first quarter was a little slow for 2025. Okay. So what I'm seeing now that I've not seen before, I'm seeing a ton of people doing massive PPC that they didn't do before. I'm
Yeah.
seeing people doing tons of paid social media, and I'm getting email blasts now. Okay, so what that says to me is you are reacting. You don't have a sales and marketing machine in place that is constantly rolling. You're reacting to down. You're not building your brand every day. And that's kind of the reason we asked you on. I believe there is a tremendous need for a holistic, a pie approach to marketing and advertising and promoting. And I think people are ignoring some of the tried and true traditionals of regional block and tackle marketing. So what works, what's working, and what are you seeing for trends?
Well, first off, thank you guys for having me. It's definitely something that you'd say it is a holistic. You don't want to wait to that last minute because at that point, then by the time something starts and you get that ball rolling, it's already too late, and then you have a gap in your sales, which could be catastrophic at best, at worst. You do have the option. What does work is a return to traditional marketing, things that never fail. You want to go ahead. You want to go out and get your postcards out there. You want to get your business cards out there. You want to do thank you cards. The things I see all the time, the people go, oh, we're in a digital world. I don't need a business card. Who needs a business card? I go, that's great. Your name's John. Your name's Ken. Your name's this one. How many John, Ken, Sally, Nicole's do you have in your phone? And then you go, oh, I met them. And then you go home and you don't even remember what you said you were supposed to pick up
You've
on the way
lost
home,
the
let
relationship.
alone who you were talking to. And then trying to go through your phone and trying to find someone and say, oh, I tapped their phone and I lost it. Forget it. You keep your card on your desk, you give it to someone, even if you won't go so far as put your picture on it. It goes so that people know who you are. They know how to remember you. They'll put a face to the name. And that's just something that's always key, especially even in the digital world, because then they could take that, they could scan the QR code on there, go to your website. They could scan it, input them into your phone. So you become that person that they can just pick up and dial easily. But going back to those simple, basic things that work, the tried and true methods of marketing, you want to go ahead and you want to send out something in the mail. I know personally, when I get mail, I actually open it. My email, it's a 50-50, whether I just sit there and I scroll all the way down at light speed, like it's a Star Wars movie. And I'm sitting there going, just delete, junk, spam. I don't care. And sometimes, I'll see someone's name I know, I'll click on it. But if you send me something in the mail, you drop something at my office, you bring something to me, hand it to me in person, you have exponentially better opportunities for me to look at what you're looking at, what you want me to look at, and how to even address it, maybe your content and absorb it. And then you have your ROI right then and there.
Well, it points to the tried and true method of cold calling. Okay. Yeah. And I don't care whether you're at the airport. I don't care whether you're out and about. A business card to me, the best ROI. You get 500 or 1,000 cards, right? Every card you pass out is basically a penny's created impression. Most importantly, you give a business card, you get one back. Or you give the business card, here's my contact information. What's your email address? Give me your business card. I don't have one. What's your email address? I'm going to send you follow-up of everything that we do. There's a reason why it's called the calling card from back in the day. Okay. And I think people have made a massive mistake in cutting down on their paper business cards for the exact reason that you said at the 100%.
But it goes to the point too that people go ahead and say, all right, I can get them cheaper. I can go get them online. I can go on Vistaprint or wherever else and have them done. But that's great. And then how many business cards I get that don't have an email on them, that don't have something spelled correctly on them. That my favorite business card I ever got, it had the file, it had the printer on the front. On the back side of the business card, it said backside on other file.
Oh boy.
Like who puts that into production?
Right.
Like when we sit there, we look at everything before it goes into production. We try to work with you. You see it, make sure you see it, we see it. And that's the difference. Versus you going online, you're probably doing it at 11 o'clock at night. You're half awake. Your kids are screaming. You're like, submit. And then you get what you put into something. It's the same way you don't drive an old hoopty to pick up your clients. You
And-
bring out a nice, clean
Yep.
vehicle that's modern and up to date. You want to make sure your marketing materials represent your company if you're running these luxurious companies.
It recommends you. It's a direct reflection of your brand. And when it has the little Vistaprint logo on it, to me, it's like a guy that his business email address is Gmail or Yahoo. Oh, my favorite one? We're not going to say who it is.
AOL?
AOL.com. So the business card, what's most importantly to me is you know what works because you've been doing this in the same industry and your graphics people catch stuff all of the time. So your experience is worth the delta, whatever it is. Hey, look, guys out there and gals out there, anybody, you can get an illegal operator to take you to the airport. You could also do an Uber X, but you use chauffeur transportation. Your clients use chauffeur transportation because they know they are early morning experts. The vehicle is going to be safe. It's going to be properly insured. The same with these guys. They know what works. They know the trends. There's 40 years of knowledge that's transferring in this business. It's critically important.
Well, there's something else there, Ken, and I think the thing that has really kind of risen to the top in our industry is that our industry right now, we are having to differentiate ourselves. Like you said, you're not going to show up in a hoopty. How many times do you have someone that has a beautiful vehicle, a beautiful experience, and they hand you that card? What we so often forget is that when someone hands you a business card, your first experience with it isn't actually going to be your eyes looking at it. It's how it feels in your hand. And Drew is laughing, right? Because I all but tortured Drew on this, right? And Arthur was involved in this because, we spent like a month or more talking about how does my business card feel in someone's hand?
Keep going.
What is the cut? Yeah, right. The truth is coming out 6 months later.
That was the last round of revisions.
Yeah, but how does it feel in the hand? How does it, go with that? And so a lot of time and effort went into that. And I can tell you, for me, there was that moment of, it's a waste of time until the first time I handed someone a card and they went, oh, wow, this is nice. Because second, they felt it. The second their hand touched the card, we talk about this in PAX training all the time. It's very hard to put a definition on what customer service is. Define customer service, define luxury to me. But if I tell you, what does it feel like? Oh, well, we all know what it feels like. And so I think it's really important to note that one of the key takeaways here is knowing that you have to do that. When you go in, when you don't spend the time, it's there. So I guess my question would be, knowing that that's an issue, knowing that that's something that operators aren't focusing on, what do you guys see right now as the opportunity for someone that's listening to this and going, holy crap, I've never thought about that? Is that a phone call to you guys? Is that, hey, I rethink my mark? What do they do to fix that? And what are the things you want them to have in mind that are going to help them get there?
What are the basic elements that they can't be without, period?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So looking at your business card, I always first say, when you look at a stack, go look at the stack sitting on your desk. So when you go through that, they're sitting on your desk for a reason, first off. And so this way, if you need to reach them, even though they may be in your phone, even though you may know them, you still have their cards. But as you start going through that stack in that pile, does anything make it stand out? There's a reason that on your table at home, you have magazines. Let's go back to old school advertising with a stack of magazines. Who ends up on top? Does it have is it a special size? Is it a special thickness? Is it a special coloring scheme? Is what makes you stand out? Because everyone can have a business card, and that's great. Everyone should have a business card. But if you need to differentiate yourself from the rest of the mainstream that's out there so that your company can differentiate itself, key things that you definitely want to make sure. You want to be very, very clear who you are and what you do. I can't tell you how many people I've seen give me a card and I'm looking, I'm upside down trying to peel it in the middle to figure out what do they do. And you sit there and I'm like, oh, you're ABC 123. Are you a Bitcoin company? Are you a transportation company?
What do you specialize in? What do you want to attract?
It needs to be clear. Yeah. And that's always the thing I say. It needs to be clear. If it's not in your logo, it needs to be a subheader. It needs to be somewhere that is very visible and very easy to read, because you don't want people to think. The less they think, the easier it is for people to want to communicate with you. And that's something that's a big trend that we're noticing. that I constantly will get people just like Ken who will love to go ahead and give you an entire encyclopedia and put it on a 2 by 3.5 inch little piece of paper. And that's great. You have a lot to say. That's awesome. But let's make sure that we use the correct
words are free.
media.
Words are free. Words are free.
Yeah, but the
okay, words are free. That's why I come to you. That's why I come to you guys. And Arthur was literally the first guy that said to me when I had him look at my PowerPoint, she's like, Ken, too many words. A picture is worth 1,000 words. Listen, the other piece of this puzzle is, if you are going after the corporate trade and that's a big part of it. I'm a big believer in having a wedding business card and an airport corporate business card because they're special. Exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So in addition to the business cards, I think that postcards have returned in vogue. You know why? I'm not getting 100 of them in the mail anymore. I think direct mail is back in vogue. And I also believe that rifle shot direct mail, we send out a gift card style that you guys designed the envelope. And I don't send out 100 of them. I send out maybe it's regimentation, 10, 15 a week. I think that, look, we all have overhead hanging around, okay, especially operators with reservation and dispatch staff. You telling me that dispatcher on third shift or that reservationist at 11 o'clock in the morning is busy? No, they're on Facebook. So how about they send out some collateral material? What is essential collateral material if you want to grow your business?
So Ken, something I wrote an article back in probably early 1990s was called 5 a day. And 5 a day means that you can create a postcard and mail out 5 cards per day. This was for a small operator. Somebody's got 1 to 2 cards, can't handle doing the mailing of 1,000 pieces, 5,000 pieces. But if you've got your postcards, you personally address them 5 per day. That's, say you work a 5-day work week, that's 25 a week. 4 weeks of the month, it's 100 a month. It's a great way and an easy way just to get your message out there. In this particular case, this client said 50% off your round trip or $50 off your round trip. So there's times right now in the corporate market where you're losing your airport community. You're losing your night on the town. You're losing the accounts of the corporate account. But if you can make them an offer to get them into your vehicle, because the client needs to be in the vehicle. The client needs to see it. It's no different than why we come to trade shows and we're just not online as people need to touch. James said he wouldn't have known the difference if he didn't touch that soft touch finish of that postcard, which all of a sudden became wow. And it's not about the information on the business card. It was the feeling that caught his attention. Second, he looked at it to see what the business card says. So it's very important to get the people back in. So postcards is very simple. 5 a day. If you're a larger size company, you can do 25 a day. And the numbers just equal up. And if you mail out 5,000 or 10,000 cards in one day, you're going to kill your reservationists with the calls coming in and not being able to get each client or potential client the time and answers that they need. So you spread it out over time. So postcards.
No question.
Postcards are correct. The envelope is key. So you can do a holiday card, you can do a Thanksgiving card, Happy New Year card, you can do a birthday card, or you can even just do it a gift certificate. But when a card comes in an envelope and hand addressed, not running it off the computer because we're running 5,000 and we don't want to write 5,000, but hand addressed. You guys know what it's like. I used to get a check from my grandmother for my birthday, and whether it was $5, $10, that week of your birthday, mail came in, an envelope, you opened it up right away. Now we're getting less real mail in our mailboxes. So when you get something, it gets your attention more so, like Drew said, your inbox gets inundated with 100 to 300 emails. And how many of those do you actually look at?
Well, right. And something else there, Arthur, is we haven't talked about this. I was always taught when I was growing up in small business that it was touch points. And something that we haven't touched on is you're typically not going to have one touch point, one contact, and there's a magic sale. And now, guys, correct me. I'm not the expert on this. I was always taught, right? 7's a holy number in marketing and in church, right? So you have to have
the casino.
Oh, well, yeah. And the casino. Don't forget the boat. Don't forget the boat. You really need God to help you at the boat. But Your 7 there is you have to have 7 touch points. And this is something in the past 10 years of PAX, at least internally, that's the number we've lived and died by, is we knew that no matter who it was, if we meet them once, right? If I meet you and I hand you a card, like Arthur said, I'm going to write thank you, or I'm going to write you something. I've got 7 touch points that I have to make before my chances go up of actually getting you as a customer. Is that still true today? And how does that kind of play into the concepts that we've talked about so far?
That's still definitely true. That goes back to the idea of what Ken was saying before. You can't just go one idea. You have to go the entire route of marketing. Marketing is a broad term. And if you go ahead and you say, I'm just going to email someone, and you email them and email them and email them, and they don't answer, they don't pick up, you have to pick up the phone. You have to find another way to get involved. One of Arthur's favorite lines is just pick up the phone. Just pick up the phone. Millennials, Gen Z.
He's listening again.
There's a lot of things I heard. I didn't realize that I sound just like Arthur now. Kind of wild.
It's true. Listen, cold calling works, especially when you legitimately. I'm going to give you an example. We had a major transaction that took place. We weren't involved in it, but we called and congratulated the new owners. And guess what? We're doing a complete review of the business that they just bought because they're from outside the industry, right? And that was it's a massive contract for us. And it was cold calling. Okay. Congratulations for buying the business. My name is Ken. We do profit reviews, financial reviews, et cetera, et cetera. If you're looking for any other acquisitions, that was it. It was a 30-second phone call. I left a voicemail. The guy calls me and I sent a follow-up email and I sent a card. Okay. Congratulations. And those were the 3 touch points. The guy calls back. So cold calling, to me, you don't have to be gregarious. It helps when you have something in your hand. Oh. So you have that business card. You need your 30-second commercial. Hey, Drew, it was great to meet you today. Okay, tell me something. Do you travel a lot? We do a lot of airport business. We do a lot of night out business. If you ever need anything, let me know. Right. So I think there's a lost art. But if you do it without a business card, right? Even if you do text them or something, to me, you've lost it. It's not tangible. And the ROI
to hold on to.
Right. The ROI of the business card and the postcard. And it's funny, talking to a small operator the other day, he bought our financials course and he's like, look, I'm finally out of the seat. I'm finally literally at 5 vehicles that I'm not driving anymore. I said, okay, guess what? Congratulations. Now you're taking off your chauffeur hat. Now you're in the BD hat. What's BD? Business development. Every single day, what is your personal sales agenda? Right? I don't really have time to do. Yes, you do. You're going to have to. If it's not right. So if you're a small operator sending out those 25 business postcards, right? Do it when you're downtime at the airport. Don't have them all over the car. Bring a little leather valise with you, and handwritten notes always make a huge difference. The business card, if you have them and you've got 500 that you bought for the show because you want all that affiliate business, Jesus Christ, please.
And put your city on there, for God's sake. I can't tell you how many affiliates go to the show with the same card that says worldwide, right? They're going to a show. They're trying to get affiliate business worldwide. So you have locations in every city on the planet. For God's sake, make a separate set that says your city. Where are we sending you the affiliate?
Where do you have boots on the ground?
Dawson Rudder said that. Remember that? He said that from Commonwealth. He said, you want my business and I'm leaving with business cards. They have literally, what am I supposed to know? Where do
I send this?
Right. Where do I? Right. Yeah. So, listen,
and it's got an 800 number.
Look, I'm a big believer I mean it. It's good for an extra set of business cards. Same branding message, which you guys are always on me on about logo the same, colors the same, branding the same. But I think special purpose business cards are important. I'm not going to hire a corporate driver who's got shit all over his business card that we're wedding specialists. At the same time, if I'm going to a wedding show, which by the way, love the wedding shows, the biggest, if you ask me what I miss about the industry, it's the Rolls Royce at the wedding shows, right? Mm-hmm. Always miss that. But the business cards have to say, wedding specialist, we know how to take care of you on your special day. less words, I know. But you're a wedding specialist. You're not going to use a corporate business card for that. It's the same thing with the postcards. Arthur breezed over something that, again, he always drives home to me is, what's the offer, Ken? What's the offer? Cut down the words.
Call to
And what's
action.
the offer?
Tailor
What's the
it
call
to them and
action?
have the offer. Yep.
It could be
Right.
a call to action of a percentage off, a dollar amount off. It could be that you're just looking to get a phone number and email address. You need for them to be able to respond. So this way, you know it's working for you.
100%.
James, to get back to
100%.
your point, you were saying what are the different things that you can do? In-person networking is very important.
Yep.
Online presence is important. The website, it's the social media presence, it's the trade show, it's attending the local meetings, it's attending the association meetings. And again, when we come to trade shows, we're there in person, you can touch and feel. Industry-wise, it's important to go to associations because you're not working against the other guy, even though they're in your city. You're working together. And
Right.
for 30 years plus, I've been telling, if you got 5 cars, James, and Ken has 10 and Drew has 6, how about we're a company of 20 plus vehicles? I'm not worried about competing against you. You'll get your business, I'll get my business. But together now I can handle larger groups because I got 20 vehicles because I'm working with the people next to me instead of working against them.
You're out of the scarcity mindset. You're getting into that mindset of the size of the industry.
It's so important to understand that. And what we do, there's a lot of comparison in ground transportation as there is in marketing. There's the Vistaprint, there's the 4imprint. But the reason you go to a creative card, and Ken, you hit this right on this, we know this. I've been doing this 40 years. I could have spread myself thin into 17 other industries. As a lot of vendors that you see, they go to all these different industries. We focus on luxury ground transportation. We understand. I sat on the board as a vendor director for 3 years. I speak with all the people that are on the board. They're clients of ours. We attend the trade shows. We attend the meetings. We attend local associations. We understand ground transportation. So when you go to a Vistaprint, and it's no different than luxury ground transportation versus Uber. There's clients for everybody. The Uber client is not the client for the luxury ground transportation, and Vistaprint is not our client either. If you're looking to do something better with your company, market and brand your company, then you choose us. Go back and look at how Gem Limo changed their brand and changed their look. Go look at Mike Rose from My Limo, changed the brand, changed his look, and what they're doing moving forward. Look at the association from LANJ of how they changed the brand, how they changed their look. That's what Create a Card does. That's how we help you with the knowledge.
Right. So when Mike and Mike's a client, and he basically said, "Look, we need to evolve the brand." So he didn't go to Vistaprint, and to his credit, he didn't go to a generic marketing or advertising company. You've seen other people pivot their brand to be able to do larger equipment, and so I want talk a little bit about the electronic capability brochure and the capability sheet or the capability rack card, why it's so important.
So those are great because rack cards are a very simple thing. For those that don't know what a rack card is, it's a 4x9 postcard. Real simple. It gets the size of a brochure, fits right into a standard envelope, fits right into your sport jacket, fits into most women's pocketbooks. It's easy, it's movable, it's a great opportunity. It gets you what you're trying to do. It communicates, hey, who you are, what services you offer, and gives you an opportunity to even show what fleet you have or different things that you're trying to feature. The best part about this is then you could then take this and turn it into a digital medium as well. You can then take a version of this. We can create you a digital PDF so that you can attach this. So you're sending out an email, you're trying to get a quote, you're trying to do some sort of acquisition of an account or something. You have that opportunity to then say, hey, here's the physical thing I gave you. Let me reattach in case it got lost in the mail, your dog ate it, whatever the situation was, because it happens as an adult too, So you have that opportunity. You can then go ahead and attach that to have marketing materials that build across your system. So you don't just have here's a business card, here's a rack card, and here's an umbrella, and nothing coordinates. The whole point of working with a marketing company is to coordinate everything. Same way you don't go out in a purple shirt and some other color pants, and you want to make sure everything matches and corresponds to each other. So that when you send out a booklet, when you send out your mailing, everyone starts to know and get your brand identity out there. And it's not just your logo. Your logo is your logo, but you want to build your brand and build the whole picture that's out there. And that's the most important thing. And that's why when you have these opportunities to make a card, follow it up with a coordinated e-blast. Say, hey, so it looks similar. It shows similar feels, shows how to reach you. And it's a great thing. Brochures say a lot of information and people love to read them. People need information, but maybe not all the time. They don't have all the time in the world. That's where I call it's the Cliff Notes version of a brochure. That's what a rack card's perfect for. So it gets you that opportunity to go ahead and get people to see and get a quick overview. And then you can turn it and grow it into a brochure. Take that brochure, turn it into a digital PDF so that as you're submitting in for these contracts, you can attach that information and then people can look more. And then if they want to know more, then they can go to your website. Going back to that entire picture of what you're looking for. You don't want to just pigeonhole something. You want to build that entire thing and grow your brand like you would grow a family.
Well, and you've always asked me this question, Ken, who's the audience for this, right? So after I give you like 15 minutes of what it is, you say, okay, so what you want to do is people who are buying. Great. You got to speak to the buyers, right? It's not to me, the full capability brochure or electronic or the rack card, it should give, like you said, a Cliff Notes version but speak to your audiences. If you're a corporate specialist, 100%. I'm a big believer in use cases, right? I'm a big, especially weddings, group and meeting, the same thing. The attributes of a group and meeting, what the most important thing is on time, flawless performance. Your people, you worry about your group and meeting. We're going to worry about getting them there. I need to tell kind of what we talked about. And the reason we invited you on this podcast is I have several pet peeves. One of them is long list. One of them is, look, did I say this is the highlight of my day? Cause I've been dealing with highlight of my week.
Doesn't get any better than this.
Look, is on Facebook. Okay, who are we using for PPC or who are we using for SEO? Okay, great, terrific, wonderful, true story. I was visiting a client that a long time ago when I was doing strategic consulting in 16 or 17, and they wanted me to come out and do a full financial review and really a full review of the business. So I get in there, and the brother's talking about, we do SEO. Oh, we spend $3,000 a month in PPC. Okay, we do this. Nothing traditional. Just it was all about electronic and I was an old man still at that time. He was a young kid. It was pissing me off. So I said, okay, you literally are in a commercial office park, and I'm looking at 8-story towers, right? And then I'm looking at all of these A buildings, B buildings, C buildings. Who are in those towers? Who are the businesses in those towers? Well, what do you mean? Well, who's next to you? Left to the right? Well, what do you mean? So this is the whole point. It's great. I love that we're in the electronic age, but if you're doing solely PPC or you're slamming money into just SEO, you're missing the biggest piece of territory marketing, which is the people that you see and you meet every day. And if you have to have something compelling to give them. And to me, I think we've lost that. I think we lost that as businesses. I know this for a fact. If all you're doing is PPC, 100%, you are attracting someone who's doing low price. It's very difficult to distinguish yourself among 5 sponsored ads. So SEO is critical. Websites are critical. We all know that. But you guys, you cannot, to me, have a full pie of marketing and advertising unless you have collateral. Talk about some of the other collateral materials that work. You know where I'm going with this. The paper cubes, the coffee mugs. What works and how do people use them?
And while we're going down this direction, right, this is something that Drew and I have talked about a lot. Arthur and I have talked about a lot. Tell us a little bit about how you initiate conversations, right? That relational marketing, that conversational marketing, because I feel like there's so many people that think just because they buy this marketing item and give it away, they're magically going to get business. how do they take that and turn it into a conversation? Arthur, you're an absolute genius at this, right? Arthur could show up with a pen, hand it to you, and he's your new best friend. But how do you take that and turn it into a relationship and a conversation?
So this is a great segue into the branding and swag. We're swagologists, we're marketing gurus, whatever you want to call it. But Ken is right. It used to be that you could drop somebody off at a corporate building, knock on 25 doors and drop things off, but that doesn't work in today's society anymore. So you need to own real estate on your client's desk or home office. And
Good
what
way
I
to
mean
put
by
it.
that is you need to be able to get which is the mouse pad that you're currently using. And you guys laugh, but this goes back to Atlantic's mouse pad that we did over 10 years ago, and I'm still using it because it was real estate on my desk. It's so important. What's even better is real estate at home. Where can you get a oven mitt with an imprint on it that you use on a regular basis? Where can you get that pizza cutter? People order pizza once a week and they cut their pizza. This is a great item to use. So the goal in the conversation is, how can I help you brand your business? And I'm going to tell them I can help brand your business through the means of marketing, such as swag items. We're going to find what we call a life item. A life item is something that you want to take with you on a regular basis. When you travel, how great is this little accordion that has a USB, a USB-C, and a Apple cord with your imprinted logo? There we go. Imprint the logo right on it.
Yeah.
Then Ken has a carry kit. This is something that goes in my backpack when I travel all the time. So when I pull out that cord, I accidentally or on purposely, I see that logo of that company. It reminds me who they are, but I'm using something that they gave me, which is great. How many of you have seen this from Titus Leasing? For years, they've been passing this out at trade shows. It's a highlighter that sits on your desk. So when you can, from a branding standpoint, and this is something I really instilled into Drew for him to understand, is you want to own real estate on the CEO's desk, on the secretary's desk, on the person who's buying all the transportation from you. So the goal in the conversation is, how can I help you brand your business? And I'm going to tell them I can help brand your business through the means of marketing, such as swag items. We're going to find what we call a life item. A life item is something that you want to take with you on a regular basis. Or
down to notepads, things that people use all the time. That's the
so the items, and James, if you look around your desk and area, there's probably 4 or 5 items that you said, these are important to me, and I kept them, and they probably have a logo on them. That's something you didn't go into Office Max or to buy or Staples.
Absolutely.
But someone gave it to you as a gift. Going back to this is something that we put together, which has the business card, as Ken spoke about. It has custom socks. It has the literature. It's also a cup and some sanitizer. This is a great leave behind. Yes, it's a little bit more expensive than most people might want to use, but if you get the opportunity to get to the gatekeeper, you get the opportunity to get to the person doing the buying, and you drop that off and you have a 5-minute conversation. So James, that's really what it is. It's us telling the clients, or us encouraging the clients to understand the conversations that have to happen. This cannot go through the email. This cannot be a digital PDF. That cannot be something that's simple, but that's a face-to-face. And boy, the art of face-to-face isn't lost. It's just not the way it was when Ken started his business and when I started my business.
So I need to tell a story about the paper cubes, because when I owned Ambassador, I was what I would tell you flat out, I was the best top line operator in the world. I just wish I had a little maniac like me on the shoulder that said, why the f- are you buying another minibus? That other minibus hasn't moved in 4 days, but I digress. The paper cube, to me, I look at anything that he just explained. To me, you're looking for how much is this going to cost compared to the life value or the life use or the annual revenue of the client. So I got to tell you, I used to do office. If I went to my doctor's office, if I'm in the building, I'm literally dropping that stuff off. It's got to be a little bit more tangible than a business card, and to own real estate on that desk. The paper cubes, we had a paper cube. I remember the cases coming in and the chauffeurs having to bring them in. What we did on the paper cubes is the last sheet. We literally put a sticker that said, for refills, call this number. Okay. Call the number on the cube. I had sold the company in 2013, 14. My assistant down there still works there. Like, Ken, they're still calling in about the paper cubes. They want more paper cubes. And we got a lot of corporate accounts, a lot of law firms that way, a lot of doctors' offices that way. We use them at networking mixers. You can't give them to everybody. What he just handed out, that's to the most important person that comes up to me at the Chamber of Commerce meeting, that comes up to me at the networking happy hour, etc. And again, if you're just the best way to work a room is somebody leaves with something tangible of yours.
Well, I'll tell you that it just goes to the idea that you just need to know your audience. The same way if you're going to a wedding show, you want to start marketing wedding materials to them. You wouldn't start putting your corporate materials out to them. Same thing too. COVID happened. We all were here. What's the number one thing we wanted? Hand sanitizer. You throw your logo on it. Still, there were cooties before COVID. There are cooties after COVID. They're all a real thing. People are still gross. People are still out there. We're in the industry of shaking hands and kissing babies and making physical interactions and talking to people and getting out there. And when you do that, hand sanitizer will never lose its place. Something simple too. Oh, if I happen to throw my logo, my phone number, my website on there, and you happen to put this in your pocket, and now you have it every single time you go through it, there's that opportunity for repeat marketing, subliminal marketing. The same way that you still see Coca-Cola commercials, you still see McDonald's commercials. They're billions and billions of dollars in revenue, these companies. But why do they advertise? Because they want to keep their brands in your hand. The same thing you need to do for your client. You need to keep your brand in their hand. They don't see you. They forget about you. Half the world now has ADHD. So if it's not there right away, you forget about it. It's gone. So you have those opportunities if you keep something in front of you, and you go back to what Arthur said, those life items, things that you actually use. There's a lot of stuff out there, and you can buy whatever you want. And great, we'll put your logo on it, and that's wonderful. But at the end of the day, we're going to tell you, hey, there's a thing that you want to get this tumbler. Yeah, it's $2. Great. Okay, you saved $1 million. But where is that going to end up? Either in the kid's toy box. And you're never going to get any opportunities to get a relationship and build a client base out of that. Versus if you hand them, maybe it doesn't have to be a full-blown Yeti. It could just be something nice, something that's really
Drew is specifically talking
it.
to me here, by the way, for anybody that is using
We've had this conversation.
their PAX books. But it brings up a really great point. And I am lucky enough that I get to call Arthur and Drew among my actual friends, right? Just beyond working with them, just beyond vendors. I truly consider them both friends. And so I probably get away with a little more than I should as a matter of that. But the other side of that is that we have a lot of conversations of, does this feel like PAX? Does this feel like something PAX would give away? Is this something they'd have on their desk? Because to that point he just made about the tumbler, if we as PAX are giving one of our members or a potential member a tumbler, I don't want it to go through the wash and my logo to fall off and to fall apart.
Right.
It's the exact same reason that you hear about, man, they dug a giant hole and they buried all these Louis Vuitton purses. Why? Because they never want you to see that brand devalued, right? They never want you to see that brand got put in the trash or thrown away. They would rather destroy that merchandise and hide it. I think of things the same way. I'm never, right? It doesn't matter if there's a defect on a business card. I'm going to put that in my back pocket if I'm at a show and I see, oh, this business card's got a nick on the corner. I always put it in my back pocket because I never, in my wildest, worst nightmare, want someone to see my card in a trash. So you really have to think about as well, what is your brand image? What do you look like? How do you hold, that brand?
And a lot of operators have lost it. They don't dedicate time to brand image. What's the brand stand for, etc.
Who are we?
Who are we? And
but look at what they're doing right now with China. So they're saying like all the handbags, Louis Vuitton, Hermes, all these fancy handbags we make them in China. They're actually $3 and you don't even have to worry about them. Don't spend $20,000. They're $3. You turn on TikTok,
I don't have
and
the
that's
logo.
what they say. But you know what Hermes did? Hermes says, boom, they turned on the camera. They showed their factory and said, here, we're not in China. We have French women sitting there showing. We don't do. They protected their brand. They said, hey, we have a luxury item, just like you guys have luxury items that you're selling here. And you wanted to say, we're not your mom and pop random Joe Schmo here. We are a nice brand. We are a luxury brand. We want you to work with us the same way that they turned around and said, hey, they can say whatever they want about us, but this is the actual situation. This is our brand. We have an identity to protect. So when they go ahead and you show this out there, that's what you want to do as your company. You're not running an Uber, a black car company. You're running a chauffeur transportation service.
And that's right. The brand is the only thing that separates you from what I call the also rans and the low price leaders anywhere in any industry whatsoever. And I can tell you this, the top three brands in every market always sell. They always sell. Those companies always sell. It's the ones that are not anywhere, they can't be found anywhere in the top 25 wealthiest zip codes. They don't have the largest corporations in their region, et cetera. And I think we've lost I don't know why in this industry is a lot of operators are like, oh, look at my $120,000 Escalade. Great. Who sees it?
No.
Where's your logo? Are you
put
marketing
your little logo on the back corner when someone's at a red light? If you put a little decal on the back of your car, and then someone's at a red light, everyone stops. We all brake. We all hit red light stop signs. If they can see your logo, that's a little chance to go ahead, even with that subliminal marketing.
So this is a funny story. I did not play well with others when I was an operator.
No.
Go figure. I had Cadillacs because I was always a Cadillac guy, and Arthur designed the Ambassador Crest back in the day. That was on the sail panel of back in the day in the sedans. We had sail panels, but it was always on the trunk, right? And we didn't do phone numbers or anything like that. Then we had license plates with the phone number on the front and the back. I can't tell you, to me, it was a force multiplier. People thought I had 20 vehicles on the road when I had 3 because it was branded. Okay.
And same way you could buy a billboard, but you don't need to buy a billboard. You own moving
It drives
billboards.
around the city for you.
You have a fleet of moving billboards that you already pay. Why pay for a billboard?
That's another perfect example. Is you're out on the road, you pass office parks, small office parks and all over the place, small businesses. The best thing that you've got going for you is that gorgeous piece of equipment and your business card and a swag. I will tell you something I learned way back in the medical alarm business when I was in another. Food works, right? So when I owned and sweets.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
I mean, coffee mugs. I remember literally the boxes of coffee mugs coming in, and the reservations would fill them with jelly beans and then put saran wrap on them, or we would do Hershey Kisses for Valentine's Day. And I would say to the chauffeurs, here's the deal. Give out 5 of these, bring me back 5 business cards. Okay. And that's how we built the database. We had a huge database. We would send offers all of the time, but it was from the business cards where, you can't get into the high rises, no question, but you certainly can get into professional offices, especially, by the way, when you're getting your teeth cleaned, when you're getting your eyeglasses. Why aren't you telling people that you already give money to, hey, this is what I do for a living. If you know anybody that's interested, please let me know. But
Ken, that goes to one of Arthur's great lines. He puts it in the email signature. The lifeline of my industry is a referral. Everything that you need is a referral. You can save my life. You can help my life. I can help your life. If we go ahead, you tell me what you do. I'm someone. You go back and you build your network. That lifeline of sharing your referral, it goes so far because you don't even realize everyone has a partner, everyone has a dog, everyone has something else. They have a friend. They know someone who needs something, and then, give me that guy's number. Give me that girl's number. And then you just keep going ahead and you build your little circle.
Networking is all about give to get. Okay. And that's what I think we've lost as a generation that thinks it's all about the friggin' smartphone and it's all about social media. It's all about, I'm 60. I can say that.
I was going to say,
look, your network has a direct correlation to your net worth. Okay. When I met that guy that bought the big company and I said to him, what else do you need? He said, well, we're looking for such and such. And I said, I know a guy. I will connect the two of you. We really would like a legal counsel that understands the industry. I connect him to Matt Dawes. Like, Matt Dawes has been in the industry for 1,000 years. He calls me the next day. Jesus, thanks for the referral. I'm like, you've referred me. I mean, you guys do M&A, but you don't do financial reviews or values. You refer me all the time. Your network, the network you create, has a direct correlation with your net worth. And I don't think you can get that on PPC. You can certainly say thank you on social media, but there's a lost art there of the traditional marketing that dovetails into what you do. And I think we've gone full circle, right? Because Arthur, you pivoted to the electronic brochures and capability brochures, et cetera, landing pages. But now I think we're going full circle because we are all inundated with all of these electronic messages. It is definitely, to me, get back to the basics, create your marketing agenda, I don't care, like you said, 5 postcards a day, 5 direct mails a day, 5 thank you notes a day. You know what's a lost art? Every single business journal has the promotions, people on the move. How about you send them a thank you note now that they got promoted to executive vice president? If you ever need a ride to the airport, I'm your guy. Well, What do you think the odds are that maybe they may have that as a perk? Okay. But what have you've created an impression that probably costs you, what the hell's a forever stamp cost today? Right. I mean,
50 cents.
73.
50 cents. Right. And they're going to remember
73 as of
73.
yesterday.
Okay. Well, now I'm feeling old because I remember
wait a minute,
buying
that's
them
a
for
Trump.
cheap.
That's
Trump
a different
did that.
conversation.
It's a Trump did that. They damn eggs and stamp. No, anyway, but you've created that. You've said thank you. Thank you. Listen, good luck. Congratulations on your move, your promotion. Here's one thing that I've learned. Corporate travel managers never leave corporate travel. They just move to another business. Okay. Procurement officers, they move to another business. A vice president of sales, same way. So if you're following the who's who in your area and they know who you are, that was the big key to our success. There were 700 limo companies when I started in Tampa, and we became the biggest. And thankfully, after the presidential conventions, somebody walked up to me and asked me, hey, I'd like to buy your company. Like, piece of cake, no problem. Anyway, but the key was networking, and the key was everything we just talked about. I don't think we could have built that brand without the logo that they designed, the paper cube. I mean, we're talking about the things that worked. I mean, I'm not talking about the things, the wacky ideas I went to him with. That's the other piece. Vistaprint won't
There's
say.
some things on the shelf still. Don't worry.
Yeah. Vistaprint's not going to tell you that's stupid, right? I've had that conversation. I have this idea, and it was, damn it,
No,
James.
just stop.
No,
Just stop.
No, Ken.
But you need someone you need someone that'll push back. You need someone that is going to be an honest partner.
So, as Drew would say, this way, 1,000 condoms with your logo on it isn't really the best promotion, but for a strip club, it's a great promotion. All right. So, again, knowing your target audience, knowing who is going to receive it, what message you're going to get. But, Ken, it's true what you said. A lot of things recycle. I have a leisure suit I'm waiting to wear again. It's going to come back. I have bell bottoms. They're going to be in style, man. I know. I'm just going to have to live long enough so I can wear them again.
Hey, look, wait a minute. Some things are obsolete.
Is networking.
Yeah.
Networking is networking, and I think we miss it. And what bothers me when I go to conferences is all of these small operators, they're spending all of their time and effort trying to get affiliate work, which is good, but it's filler work.
Right.
You need to create relationship. There's common threads to this podcast. Every single successful operator, a successful business that we interview, you can take it. Maurice Brewster from Mosaic, all about the relationships he created. Dawson Runner and Tammy Rutter from Commonwealth, the pivotal relationships he created back in the day when he was a driver. And the relationship I created with Arthur, honestly, Arthur, I can't remember whether Tom Mazza referred you or you referred Tom Mazza to me, but it was, look, this is the guy that knows everything marketing and advertising in the space. How many printing shops are there in Tampa? But I went to him and he told me what worked I said, don't waste your time with that. Matches don't work anymore, Ken, because smoking has gone down. The condom idea never came from me, Arthur, but anyway.
Yeah, you'll laugh at this, but one of those visits to Tampa when we came to see you, we were on family vacation. I think Kathy, Drew, his brother, were out at park when I said, "Hey, I need to take an hour and go visit this gentleman while I'm here." And that's how that came in. Is we were, I think, on a Busch Gardens, maybe a Disney vacation, happened to be in your area, and I made sure. I think I probably called you 2 or 3 times that week. And we finally got that 1 hour together, which started everything.
And he collected a business card, so the IRS was listening. He could write off that whole trip because, yes, he did visit me. He did visit a customer. But it was about networking.
2 things I want to touch base on before we
no, and we're coming to a close. So if you want to leave us with your closing thoughts, this is perfect, Arthur.
So new and forward thinking. AI is going to play a lot in what you do. Take it for advice. Don't take it for the rule. Use it and figure out how to adapt to it in your marketing. It will not replace your face-to-face. Some of the new things that we're doing to help people brand on a small basis is our company stores. We create company stores where your logo's on. There's probably a couple hundred items now that are available in apparel. So the shirt that you're wearing, James, and the same thing for Ken. The stuff. So there's shirts. If somebody in the office had a baby and you need a onesie with that company logo on, you can do it. We set them up for free. You just write to us, send us your logo. We can get that created within 48 hours. You'll be up and live, and you can see your company store. That's great for staff and for clients to promote your brand. The other thing also is we spoke a lot about the business card. We have a digital white paper available for business cards. So James and Ken, if you leave our name, Drew's email address, and they request that, we'd be very happy to send that out to them. It talks about the making of a business card, how to use the logo, what information to put on it, the touch, the feel. It's a short 5-page digital with less words, a lot more pictures, Ken, less wording. But we have that available as well. And again,
it's right on our website too.
35 plus years, 40 years. It's great having vendors and friends like you both. Ken, we go back so many years. James, I feel like you've been around a long time, even though it's been a short time. It's been 25% of my career. But it's great to see everybody. And it's also sad to see we're losing a lot of people that are retiring and or passing away. But this industry has been wonderful to the Messina family. And we thank you guys and we thank the industry for that. And the honest thing I could say is networking is networking. I said that before, but tell the truth. Stop the lies. Stop the BS. Tell the truth. You don't have to worry about what you said because what you said was the truth. And that's what we do. We run a business on family morals. We are a small business with large thoughts. We help a lot of the people in this industry, but we do it because we care. And that's why we're here.
Well, and we appreciate you guys coming on, and we're going to drop links in the show notes, phone number. If they want to get a hold of you, Drew, or they want to get a hold of you, Arthur, what is the best way for someone to get in touch with you?
The best way to get in touch with us. Yeah, call me, because if you call Arthur, he'll forward it over anyway. So it's good. So just give me a call. Call us.
I really am happy he's at that stage of his life. Sorry to interrupt. How do we reach you?
You can always give us a call at the office, 631-584-2273, or just shoot us an email, Drew at createacardinc.com. Real simple.
So that's createacardinc.com for the website. For everybody listening, if you're driving, when you pull over, all you have to remember is createacardinc.com, right?
To make it even easier for you, it's CACswag.com.
CAC swag.
CAC swag. Less characters, make it easier while you're driving.
All right. Awesome. We appreciate you guys coming on. Thank you for everything you do. And thank you, everyone, for listening to the Ground Transportation Podcast. Ken has said it at least 10 times. We'll say it 10 times more. This is the highlight of Ken and I's week. We love getting to share these guests with you, getting to share what we do with you. And we really hope you'll tune in. Drop us a comment, drop us a like, a subscribe. Let us know the topics that you guys want to hear. And we look forward to hearing you, seeing you, being with you on the next podcast. Thanks.
And remember, this is the best continuing education in the industry, and it doesn't cost you a hotel room.
Thank you for listening to the Ground Transportation Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please remember to subscribe to the show on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. For more information about PAX training and to contact James, go to paxtraining.com. And for more information about driving transactions and to contact Ken, go to drivingtransactions.com. We'll see you next time on the Ground Transportation Podcast.